How's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7 back again with another view from the van and looking toward tomorrow's game down in London against Spurs in what's sure to be another difficult test, another difficult examination of the squad and Eddie Howe. But what a fantastic job coming to tomorrow's game off the back of another victory. We're starting to rack them up now, and solidifying a top 6 position in the Premier League, which I think is beyond most of our even most optimistic predictions at the beginning of the season. But yeah, coming off the back of a 1-0 wonder goal performance. Miggy again, our leading scorer this season. Can somebody have a go at him every bloody pre-season, because it's been absolutely fantastic from the Paraguayan. I have been one of the ones who stuck up for him throughout. Always consistently said he can score goals if you see him play for his international team Paraguay. Amazing talent, always scoring for them, always creating chances, playing in his more favourite position, and it's just amazing what can happen when the players are played where they really want to play, and also when they're given a proper pre-season of a proper manager, proper fitness, proper tactics and all that sort of thing. His first full season under Eddie Howe, and it's going absolutely brilliantly, absolutely fantastically, and no doubt his performances and the quality of goals he's scoring is masking up as well, and hiding up and covering up for some of the long list of injuries that we've got. I mean, years gone by, seasons gone by, if we were missing quality to the likes of Isaac at 60 million and ASM at 30-40 million, we've been absolutely all sorts of trouble and stuff like that. And we've got still quite a long list of players out, players unavailable. But it's credit to the squad, it's credit to the belief in the squad, it's credit to the coaching and the management and everybody, and the feeling of truly being united at Newcastle United, that despite the fact we haven't been able to name our strongest team at all this entire season, we are doing so well. We've played a lot of the big teams, and we've either beaten them, drew with them, or giving them a fucking bloody nose, the type of witch that you'd never forget. We've ruffled feathers, we've upset the greedy six, the establishment, and it's absolutely fantastic to see. On Wednesday, it was definitely, for me, in attendance there, it was definitely a different side of Newcastle. It wasn't the swashbuckling one who put the likes of Fulham, to the sword. It was a dogged, determined, disciplined team who maintained the shape at all times, despite the fact that they were running on empty through large periods of the second half, like they were at the end, towards the end of the Manchester United game. They still kept the shape. They still were absolutely obsessed with keeping the clean sheets. Newcastle United have got the meanest defence in the entire Premier League. Only conceded, I think it's 9 goals this season. That ranks us the best defensive unit in the in the entire competition. So that's a fantastic start. 11 games in, so a good amount of games in, and the defence is certainly measuring up. Sven Botman again, he was fantastic, wasn't he, against Manchester United? He's again been brilliant. Fabian Schär, £3.5 million for all the problems, and there were many, that Mike Ashley caused and did. His ability to pick this lad up for £3.5 million is an absolute fucking steal. And let's face it, if he wasn't to be getting put in fucking prison for anything else, that's a bastard steal. So get him locked up. The entire defence against Everton. Yes, we weren't playing at our best. We weren't our most free flowing, but we restricted them to one shot on Nick Pope's goal. It's absolutely brilliant with the diving antics of Gordon, with returning strikers, with a quality side, it must be said, in Everton. They've got some good players playing for them. They marshalled them ever so well. They also, as well, had an extra day's worth of recovery, and I think that showed a little bit in the second half, when they had a little bit more energy, a little bit more legs about them. But look, Newcastle stuck to the to the plan. They battled, the squad was used, the substitutions were spot on, and we got the 3 points. And it takes us into this game in a very interesting position. Obviously, Spurs coming off the back of a 2-0 defeat. Of course, if Spurs had won, with Newcastle winning, we would have jumped up another place in the league. But Manchester United, who you could very well say that we should have beaten at the weekend, they made Spurs look very, very, very ordinary. Spurs had an absolute terrible day. And it's now we go into this game, you would expect a little bit of a sort of Conte kick up the fucking ass and a sort of reaction from them. But at the same time, when you've looked at them and I've watched their game back, for all they have got some absolutely fantastic, wonderful, talented players going forward. I think the defence, with Callum Wilson playing, with Miggy playing, and whoever else makes up the other three, most likely Jacob Murphy at the moment, there is opportunity for them there. You know, you've still got Dyer playing at the back, and I think that their defence will allow Wilson to get in behind them. I noticed a couple of times they dived in needlessly, recklessly, and again, if you can get spun round and they've dived in, you can be away, through in on goal with obviously a good scoring opportunity. So I think there's opportunities for Newcastle, to get down there, get amongst them, and score goals. There's no doubt about that, and we've seen that there is goals in the team. And I think with our defence and how mean and how tight it's been, if we can get our noses ahead, the crowd will turn. They're not going to be happy, obviously, with the performance from last weekend. If we get ahead a goal or two, again, the pressure is going to be on Spurs. But it's all about keeping the discipline, keeping the shape, keeping them out, and then waiting for them, in my opinion, to sort of make the mistake and exploit the centre of defence. They're missing a few as well, which again plays into our hands. And on paper and on balance, if you were to weigh it up with everything, I think most people, a neutral will probably come up with a 0-0 or a 1-1 or a 2-1 either way. So I think it is going to be something like that. I think the draw is probably the most likely outcome, and I think if Newcastle United were to get the draw out of this game, then I think that I think the fan base would be absolutely fine with that. I think it would be seen as a very, very good point. Spurs are a good team. They've got a good manager. They're doing good things. But so have Newcastle. We have come such a long way in such a short time. This time last season you couldn't buy a win, and there was a real danger and a real threat of us being dragged into a relegation battle and being sent to the Championship. So you've got to pinch yourselves sometimes, and even with the injuries and players out and stuff like that, again, the fact that we've got a £60 million striker to come back very, very shortly is a miracle in itself. You know what I mean? ASM, they've been very, very careful over. Joe Linton, obviously, he took a whack off the Scouse Magnums on Wednesday, a whack to the side of his knee. He came off at half time to be replaced by Joe Willock. Joe Willock clearly is going to want to be involved in this game as an Arsenal lad. He's going to want to put one over Spurs, no doubt about that. And potentially, I think he may be involved, and I think he can be involved in a few places. But certainly after the press conference, I was a little bit, he's not going to play. He's not going to be risked. And I thought we'd miss his physicality in the midfield, to be honest. But I've seen the training pictures from the club that were released later on yesterday, and he was involved in all the sessions and all the work and stuff like that. So I've got a feeling that Big Joe will be available for this game. So that's a massive boost for us, because he's been absolutely fucking fantastic for us. And again, when he went off against Everton, our fortunes certainly suffered a little bit with regards to the flow and our style of game and stuff like that. So Joe Linton, I think, will start this weekend. No doubt about it. Bruno, we'll get on to Bruno. Everybody's talking about Bruno again. You run out of superlatives to be able to talk about this lad. Absolutely fantastic. And I've noticed that on other clubs, fan channels and stuff like that, the likes of Manchester City, people are talking about him and saying, well, you know, could he come into a Manchester City side? Yes, he could come into a Manchester City side, and so on and so forth. But look, the lad's happy, enjoying his football, loving, you know, everything from the Newcastle faithful. His dad seems to love everything that's happening for his son as well there in the away end against Manchester United. There's no way that we let him go, Bruno. You know, he's happy at the club's going places. I just don't see it. I don't think there's enough money that could tempt Newcastle into selling currently, to be honest. I know you can never say never, but nah, I'm not having it. And on top of all of that stuff, as compelling reasons to stay, of course, yesterday his wife Anna gave birth to the latest member of the Toon Army. So yes, they become parents yesterday, which is absolutely fantastic. He released all the pictures on his social media accounts and stuff late on yesterday. So congratulations to Bruno and Anna, his partner. Everything absolutely fine and dandy with baby Matteo. So the latest member of the Toon Army. So he's got a Geordie lad, born there, born and bred. That's it for him now. You know, absolutely fantastic. He looked fucking shattered on the photo. His missus clearly, obviously, as well, absolutely shattered. But again, I would imagine that he would be available for this weekend, and he will be, if it's possible, you know, he's going to have that extra 5 to 10%, desperate to score, desperate to mark, you know, the birth of his son. He has been playing fantastically well, assists and goals in the last few games. So yeah, there's got to be that added little spice, that added little ingredient, that added little bit of motivation, you know, for against Spurs. And it would be great if he was to score, if he was to be the one who got the goal. You know, the unity, the tightness in between all the players. Yeah, it would be a special moment. And you know, you saw how together and how close they were when Gordon, you know, when he was diving in the Everton game and then getting into Trippier's face, and Fabian Schär, like a fucking steam train, was over there like a fly round shit, not having that. And you love to see it. You love to see the fact that there is that bond, you know, together between the players and stuff like that. And yeah, if Bruno was to score at the weekend, it would be one of those special moments. He's obviously clearly marked as well, so he'll be even more desperate, if that's humanly possible, to score than ever before. So I mean, me personally, I'm quite confident. Like I say, I think a 1-1 or a 2-1 is the sort of most likely you know, situation. I'll stick my neck out. I'll go 2-1 for this game for Newcastle United, and Bruno to score. It's just, you know, football's about stories and, you know, undercurrents and subplots and stuff like that. It's not just about the action on the pitch, and I just think it's set up beautifully for that to happen. And if it were to happen, we've got the chance to get into the top 4 this weekend, and it really is heads gone. But look, any point, any sort of result from down against Spurs down in London would be brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The team, I think, is going to go unchanged again. I was surprised midweek that there weren't changes. And it wasn't until the closest to the game I'm sitting there thinking he's probably thinking that Everton at home is more realistic for 3 points than Spurs away. Perhaps there'll come changes. But Eddie said, look, I'm going to be looking at the stats, looking at the players' condition, seeing what they can do, seeing what minutes they've got on the legs, and I'll take it from there. No doubt your Callum Wilson's, if he starts, won't last the entire 90 minutes. He'll be managed ever so carefully, especially with the injuries. We've already got to the attacking areas. Chris Wood will get a good half an hour's run out in this game. Jacob Murphy is there. Elliot Anderson is knocking down the door for his start. I don't honestly think a start would come in this game. I think if Jacob Murphy was to be rested, I think you might find that Joe Willock, who played a little bit out on that side for a bit against Everton, may come in and do a job on there. And the fact that he's athletic and he's pacey and he can get about them, and it would help to towards the counter-attack. Sort of makes me think that that may be a possibility. I can't see the defensive unit of 5 being changed. You saw the photo. What a fantastic photo at the end of the game. All the lads of the defence together there celebrating the clean sheet as much as a goal. So, yeah, I can't imagine any changes there. In the midfield, like I touched on, Joe Linton, I think he'll be involved. Bruno will be like a man possessed to get a goal or something at this weekend. And then Sean Longstaff hasn't done a great deal wrong recently, has had an extended run in the team, so I think he keeps his place. And then my question mark comes, will Joe Willock come in to replace somebody like Jacob Murphy? Miggy, again, you're talking about pace and keeping the Spurs defence keen. He will certainly do that. So Miggy will go in there, and you wouldn't be surprised if he was to notch another goal. The lad is, he's enjoying his football. He always plays with a smile on his face. He played with a smile on his face under fucking cabbage heat, so he's definitely got an even bigger smile, as wide as the fucking Tyne, when it comes to Eddie Howe and how things are going. So again, it could be another game where Miggy gets himself another cracker, another world-class one. I've watched that goal back against Everton. It's an absolutely fantastic goal. Good team work again on display, but the finish is beautiful and just placed. And maybe if Jordan Pickford had slightly longer arms, he might have been able to get that. But we all know that he's only got little wee short fucking arms. Dino fucking boy. Speaking about which, how funny was it at half time when the lad came out in the T-Rex outfit in the Gallagher? Fucking class, mint banter. Geordie boys taking the piss. I love that. Inflatable dinosaurs for the entire 90 minutes getting banded around. But yeah, it is all attention. You can't really enjoy the victories too much at the time being, because the games come so thick and fast. But yeah, I don't imagine many changes. The bench will be the same. John Joe Shelby, I hope he does get some minutes, because he looks ready. But I think Eddie Howe knows how big of a player that he can be for us, and doesn't want to risk, doesn't want to rush, and wants to play really, really cautiously with him. But it would be nice if he got some minutes. And I think with the way the squad is, substitutions are going to be key in the second half, because again, you're talking about tired legs. There's going to be a lot of tired legs out there. Fraser will be coming on. Hopefully John Joe Shelby will get some minutes. Chris Wood will come on, of course, up top to give Wilson a break. So we really need Wilson to bag a goal or two. That would be nice. And I certainly think this is the sort of game for Callum Wilson where he can, he can get about, he can cause trouble. It's his sort of game where his movement and his cleverness in the box could well be, somebody who could get amongst the goals for Newcastle. One player we're going to have to watch though, and again, this is the mark. Even with a few players out, when you've got Son and Kane in your team, you have to be fucking watching religiously all the time. You can't give them an inch. So the defence will have to continue their fantastic form to be able to keep them out and to keep them off the score sheet. But yeah, definitely points in this game, I feel, for Newcastle, and continuing this brilliant run that we're on. So let me know down below what you think with regards to starting team, any changes, and also the score predictions as well down below. And any comments about the Everton game. What did you make of all the dino fun in the Gallagher end? The flags, again, fantastic, great atmosphere, and it was also fantastic to see Jordan Pickford booed every single time he fucking went anywhere near the ball at all. And of course, to see him beaten, to see an outstretched arm and him not being able to sort of reach the ball, that was just the icing on the fucking cake. So yeah, we'll be back with a review after the game. Can't wait for it, looking forward to it. Wish it was today, but yeah, it's tomorrow. So in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.